to what'd you say you placed on the Peloton?
80.
Well,
That must be the off-brand bike. Is that the off-brand bike?
Peloton.
Peloton.
That bitch got 3 wheels.
Peloton.
He got a tricycle.
He got
Tricycle.
he got the bike with the sidecar on the side.
We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, you know. Despite your skills, keep it riding for the fam. You gotta light the wheels straight up. But in the past bad, work up in the trash bag. I'll pass a lot to take the test before I pass class. And my family needed bread, I had to come correct. That's why I keep airing it out like I just passed gas.
Fellas, we in these crazy times, but the leagues are trying to get back going. Major League Baseball wants to get going. NBA wants to finish. Soccer wants to finish. NFL wants to figure out what's going on. We remember Blake Snell came out and said he's not playing for a reduced salary a couple weeks ago. These dudes ain't just taking what you're going to give them as an owner. Hey, we're losing money, so you losing money, man. These players ain't with that, bro.
Snell is looking at it. He's looking at it like, if you owners not losing half of your money, I shouldn't lose half of mine. I guarantee that's what he's looking like. And I know the outside looking in, they're going to say, you know, you guys are making millions of dollars. Stop crying. You know, play sports. We want to see sports. But at the end of the day, I kind of feel what Snell is talking about. Like, don't cut half of my water off if half of your water off, you're not getting cut off as well.
But do we? But we got to think about it from a business perspective. Some of the water is being cut off. You know, because like, yeah, we have TV money. But what about the partnerships and the loss of revenue generated from the fans not being in the stands? I'm one that think that the owners and players need to partner on this. And if the pool of money is, you know, being drained because of the times, then we all got to take a hit.
Okay, what's a hit though? I mean, I'm taking 50% hit, and the owner taking 25% hit.
I think we all need. I think the players, and it seems like that's happening, right? Because like the NBA, you know, they're doing polls with the NBA players. Hey guys, do y'all want to play? What about, you know, if these are the regulations and the rules moving forward? So they have a seat at the table. They have a voice. So for me, I think the player just need to have the voice at that table and making those decisions. But I don't think that's a hard thing to ask. You know, a player right now. Look. You know, we're all taking a hit, so you got to take a hit as well. And that's hard for me to say.
We're not partners because we're employees, because you can find us. We can't find you. You ride the private jet. We ride the team jet. Like, we're not partners. Don't paint it to me like that. And also, you have a drop in business. You were making billions year after year after year after year. The Rooneys.
Yes.
Right now, down Stephen Ross, Ursay. You know what I'm saying? Cons. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars every year. So you have a little drop in your business, you're going to recover. Every snap we play is getting closer to our retirement. Right. You're going to bounce back. These players can't take a hit. And you know what you're going to say next year? You're older. Right. I'm not going to give you more money. You're older.
That's what I was thinking.
Big difference, bro. Big difference.
It's definitely not a partnership, right? Because the NFL is just built around leverage. And the biggest component of that is your age. You know, everybody questioning whether, let's say, for example, if the NBA starts back or whatever they're going to do, and for example, if the Lakers go and win it, it's going to be a championship with an asterisk by it, right? And if they don't go, now LeBron, for example, is a year older, and he's the anchor to that team, you know? So, and I know he wants to get back out there, but he's the face of the league, so he can't just say, well, I want to jump back out there, because families are involved. It got to be a little bit political. But when it comes to the NFL, the biggest thing in our business, definitely when I play, because one, they look at potential. They'll pay you just simply based on potential. But then age always come into the play. You know, they always said running backs, for example, we break down right before we turn 30.
Yeah.
So my goal was to show these that I'm going to still grind post 30. And if they do take the season and condense it or cancel it or whatever, now you're a year behind the 8 ball.
So is it 3 against 1? So you saying you don't think it's a partnership?
No, it's not a partnership.
What about you?
You're gonna get cut. What's gonna happen to the guys that get cut?
How many teams cut you?
2.
Two cut you, right?
Hold on, let me see.
What
3?
happened to the leverage? That's what I'm saying.
So
where's
No,
the-
it's 3.
where's
Like the
the part-
last year, I got cut.
where's the
I got cut
partnership
by the
in that?
Giants.
Oh, y'all, hold on. Take it easy now. We got a little,
Speaking
little
about-
skillets coming.
Talk about cutting.
Lobster mac and cheese.
So that's the thing. Like,
What we got?
Lobster mac and cheese.
Lobster mac and cheese.
See that, and that's
Let me
one of the
put
other
this over.
things.
Let me scoop this over.
Even on this podcast, Chef Nancy will probably last longer than some of us because in the building, in the NFL, the players in and out the building.
Yeah.
But everybody else that took care of the players,
They're
they
there 20,
lasted
25
much
years.
longer than
I
everybody
hope,
else.
I hope
So-
so.
You know what I'm saying?
If I'm a partner, you need to consult me before you cut me.
Exactly.
They
We
know
are
they
partners.
happening.
We are partners.
Look,
We're not
you
we're
gonna-
commodities
we
in
gonna
their
see you-
business.
That's
We're
true.
investments.
Here's why we're partners.
Not
right?
partners.
Because I'm thinking solely on the business tip. Owners are partner with players, not the individual players. This is my contract. This is my team that I play for. This is my position. The owners are partner with the union, the Players Association.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say we're partners and why this is an interesting topic is because when you look at how the deals are structured, we literally revenue share with owners, right?
That's
so
true.
for my point is, from a partnership standpoint, now, yeah, there's political, there's diplomacy and all of this, and we know the real game, right? Like, yeah, they hold most of the cards. But when it comes to these times, and if the revenue is funny and it's being hit, then if we're revenue sharing, why wouldn't a player take a hit as well? And it's just common sense.
So we're partners. We're only partners at times like this, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying we're partners, period, when it comes to that language in that contract, when the CBA, the agreement that the owners
No
have
such thing.
with the association, that's a partnership. Now, it's our job to continue to fight for more power and a bigger voice at the table. But 100% we're partnerships when we look at
Everything
that.
is about leverage.
that
man.
agreement.
And Belichick used to always say, "Do business as business is being done,"
Mm,
and that not just for the game, but that applies to every aspect of life. No matter who you're dealing with. So you got to get in the room and negotiate. Everything is always played out, obviously, in the owner's favor. We've seen certain CBAs, and even this last one, it's a 10-year extension on the CBA, and it doesn't necessarily look great. Some people say it's good, and some people say it's bad. It depends on what side of the fence you want to be on. You want to be on the side of the fence where it's a partnership. Last I checked, that was 50-50. It ain't 39, 71, or 61.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And for the most part in NFL, at least in our business, the owners have always had the upper hand.
Now,
You can't tell me otherwise.
Listen, you said something that opened my eyes, and I think it's interesting. You talked about injury. That's the only thing that, changes discussion, where we revenue share with the owners. So if there's less revenue coming in, then the player needs to make less money, right? That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But who's taking on more risk? Because what you said was, if I tear my ACL and I can't play again, if I don't recover, I can't make that money next year. The owners can. So that's a very interesting thing when we think about.
But it's more of a
when
risk.
we think about the player taking on that that risk never changed for the player.
Yeah.
Any play, any moment, your career is done.
Okay.
And that's the biggest fear that we all walk on that field, think like we think that's in the back of our head every single practice, every single game. So that does change the perspective.
Since you think we're partners, why do the owners they are taking every angle they can not to guarantee NFL contracts? NBA's guaranteed, MLB's guaranteed. They don't want to guarantee NFL contracts because we have the highest injury
The
rate.
reason why the reason why we don't have guaranteed contracts right now, because Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning is not sitting at the table negotiating during these times. We just signed a new extension, a 10-year extension that you just talked
Right.
about, and the faces of our league is not sitting there. Now, Drew Brees, 10 years ago, when we were playing for the Dolphins and we were in the lockout, Drew Brees was paid over $1 million to represent the players. We paid for that. You paid for that, Reggie. Fred, you paid for that. We paid Drew Brees to actually represent us, to be a face, because we knew the power of having Drew Brees at the table. That's why we don't have guaranteed contracts. You look at the NBA, you got LeBron James, you got Chris Paul, you got Kobe Bryant running the Players Association. That's the difference between the NBA and the NFL.
No, the biggest difference is the contract. The black and white.
Yeah, but the reason why we're not getting that contract, but think about it.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't get any clearer than that. You have a union that's supposed to fight for whatever the players deem, worthy for their side. And then you have the owners, the teams. So if you're going to say it's a partnership, it obviously, like I said a second ago, it has to be some good faith negotiating. You can consider it that, but I think that as long as the union is trying to pacify, most of the players, because a lot of the players don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
That's the problem.
At the end of the day, to me, if I don't have any say-so in decision-making, we're not partners.
But
why
that's where the knowledge comes from.
But why do we need to bring Tom Brady, Drew Brees, all the people you said?
Because they're the faces, but it ain't about the faces. Fred, it's about the knowledge.
It's not about that. If we're partners,
it comes down to the knowledge.
I shouldn't have to fight with you about my money, and I can't take your money. We have to bring these people to the table to get guaranteed contracts, and that's why we don't have them. You just said
we're gonna have some discussion.
Why do we have to argue with them about guaranteed our contracts? You know why? Because we're not partners. They would want us to make. If we were really partners with the owners, they would want us to eat too. They wouldn't want to take the last year of our contract. Every time I look at a contract, 4 years,
it'll be granted.
Every single time I take a year off. Yeah. Okay, 4 years, 20. That's 3 years, 14. I do the math every time. I cut out about $5-6 million on the last end. Yep. And I just trying to do a 25% thing and say, 4 for 20, 3 for 14. Yeah. Why is every contract like that? Because we are commodities and they're planning on us getting injured. They're planning on our 40 to go down. They're planning on our talents to go down. Right. And I'm not going to pay you in 4 years. I'm going to get whatever I can out of you in 3 years. Partnerships don't work that way, B. Marsh.
Who runs the player association from the team standpoint, the local level in the NFL?
Whoever the guys vote on. You put your
our
name
punters.
Yeah. No, you put your
our kickers.
It's some linemen. It varies.
Right. Yeah. Guys, you do have some guys coming in, but why? Like every team, like it should be the Peyton Mannings of the world. Aaron Rodgers, I was great.
Why?
I was happy.
Why? Because they're a quarterback?
No, well, what I'm saying is what's going to move the needle is, as you know, if a star says, I'm not playing for this, like what happened in the MLB, you got your guy standing up saying, if I play for half, it's not happening. If you're asking me to play for half, it's not happening. So when you have a 5th round, 6th round cat who's just mid-tier guy saying that, no one blinks an eye, no one listens. But if you have Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, you have Lamar Jackson, you have those guys making that same statement, now everybody listens.
I understand what you're saying in terms of the quarterbacks are generally the leaders of the team, and they can pretty much persuade the players to follow them. Now, even going back a step further, what I said a second ago, it's all about knowledge and education. I know that because in this past CBA, a certain percentage of the players that had the opportunity to vote, those guys ain't even vested. They don't even know what's going on.
100%.
They don't know what they're even voting on.
But that's my point.
And that's the problem.
But that's my point. But that's my point, because in 2010, during the year of the lockout, when we were negotiating, I was one of our player reps for the Miami Dolphins. So it's Mr. Denny.
Who the hell voted for that?
I ain't vote for that nigga. I guarantee that.
But here's that's my point. But guess what? I'm on every single week. I was on every single call with our punter, and I was sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and all we're doing is we're logging into a conference call, and we're listening. We don't have a seat at the table. We're not talking. Right? You hear D. Smith talking and you hear this guy talking, and every once in a while a player chimes in. but it wasn't the Drew Breeses. Well, Drew Brees was actually paid that year, but where was Peyton Manning that year? Where was Tom Brady? When you look at the NBA, LeBron James is on that call. Kobe Bryant was on that call. Chris Paul is running the Players Association.
You know why?
That's why they have a voice.
Because Stern and Silver want the voice of the players. Your uncle Raj,
Come on.
y'all remember me call him Unc now. Your Uncle Raj, he doesn't want nobody to tell him what to do. To be honest, now I'm not just attacking Roger Goodell. He doesn't want that voice. He doesn't want us to debate him. Roger Goodell works for the owners. The 32 owners pay Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell is supposed to calm us while they make billions. That's Roger Goodell's job. He doesn't want people fighting that midpoint. He don't want people fighting that middle guy. The middle guy is supposed to be the calming factor on both sides. Every time he talks to us, he goes back and reports to them, and they tell him what to come back and tell us. So if we had Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, goddamn Warren Moon, if we would have got fucking Mean Joe Green to come out, Roger Goodell's going to talk to them and say, okay, and go back to the owners, and owners going to tell them, go tell them, calm down, we'll give them an extra 0.5%. Because they're going to get theirs. They're going to get theirs, B. Marshall. And I'll tell you this, too. The thing about the quarterbacks real quick. Why Breeze and Brady and them boys don't really want to be on there and they're not interested in it? Because on the chessboard, they're the king and the queen. We're pawns. They're the big dogs. They're making 20, 30. Patrick Mahomes about to get $40 million a year.
That's what I said. They're the whole category by themselves.
They are by themselves.
NFL coming out, well, an executive leaked. Here's what we're proposing. This is what the 2020 season can look like. Potential changes. Players would be tested before and after practice and before and after games. Teams that play in states in which governors won't allow teams to play would instead practice and play in the closest states that does. Another change, players and coaches would sign coronavirus waivers.
Bam. Reg don't like that.
And then the last one, there would be no fans at the stadium for the Super Bowl. You mentioned Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald was the first one to comment on this, and he put up a sign and said, no way. So
he's the face.
He is, for the past couple of years, he's been one of the faces of the NFL. That's what we need. We need Aaron Rodgers saying no. Even and I mentioned Russell Wilson and I mentioned Aaron Rodgers a couple minutes ago. But during this whole negotiation, those were two players that said absolutely not. We're not signing this deal. We need more players like that standing up that speak to the other players. We're not signing this deal. You said the waivers. I said that because I was talking about Aaron Donald, but you talking about the waiver and you made it sound like, bro, sign a waiver.
Listen,
sign a waiver.
Who signed a waiver?
You.
So
come on, you ain't gonna play. You just came off a Super Bowl, right? Y'all running high. You making your money. Yeah. You're not gonna sign a waiver?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you why I'm not gonna sign that waiver. Because you're gonna sit up here and tell me if I get COVID-19 while I'm out here practicing, and you're gonna tell me good luck. We'll show you the way to the hospital. They might not even give you a ride.
They'll drop you at the curb.
But right, they probably pour some whiskey down your throat and leave you on the curb. Right. But you're gonna tell me, okay, if I'm practicing and I tear my ACL, tear my tricep, whatever the case may be, we can handle that. COVID-19, you can't handle? No, man.
What if one of y'all's teammates that's vital to your success, vital to your playoff run, your Super Bowl win, whatever, and he says, I'm not coming back to play under this. I'm not doing it. How are y'all going to look at that teammate?
No, it's funny because, we're just watching Last Dance again, and you see Scottie Pippen sit out, and they talked about, the team lost respect for him.
Yeah.
I think that's a thin line, but I think during this time, as a player, you gotta understand that, man, this thing is impacting everyone differently, and you have to respect that. There's some people that's gonna be forever changed by COVID-19. What if you have a kid at home that may have a weak immune system for whatever reason, a premature baby, or your grandmother lives with you. My grandmother going through chemo right now. right? And she lived with us for 10 years while I was playing in the league. So I think as a player, naturally, we look at that player as weak. That's just our culture. That's the environment that we live in, and that's how we're trained. Like any weakness, like you said, it's like just like the Army. You just mentioned it. That's how we're trained. Like just do it. Come on, let's go.
You've said before how much money you put into your body in the off season and stuff, right? So say, for instance, you're one of them teams that has to play in another state and practice in another state, right? You're gonna feel like moving your chef, everything that you do to that other state?
I think then the discussion is about edge, and it's about, for me, I'm always looking for the edge. So I'm definitely going to do that. I'm the type of guy that, I'm going to have my house, my family's going to be there, we're okay, because I was blessed, we made a lot of money. And then I'm also going to have another house, and that's going to be the house for anything that we need. Right, so we're gonna make it work, and I have that mentality. Like I'm that type of guy. It's like if we have to move to Arizona, let's move to Arizona. We'll make it work. But then the true question is it fair for the player who don't have the means?
That's my thing. That's what I was about to say. What about those guys that's at the bottom of the list? How can they continue to win?
I was the guy that's like, yo, my massage therapist is here. Block off y'all time.
Everybody
it's all on me.
Everybody ain't
whatever
like
y'all need. So, but I did that for my room. All the receivers, all the younger receivers, I said, guys, like one of the things I hated in camp was how we dogged those guys in the back.
Oh, I ain't dogging
right?
nobody. That was just,
and
that was
I
just
mean,
you.
like for
you
us,
solo.
we they cut our reps. They gave us little vet days and things like that. And you see this guy run down the field 1,000 times on kickoff return, punt return. You see them boys in an ice tub for 3 hours. And
you felt sorry for him?
I felt 100% sorry for him.
I never did.
What?
Nah.
Fred, where's your heart?
Nah, I didn't feel
Where's your
sorry
heart?
for him. Nah, I didn't feel sorry for him. I was cheering for him. I had the little homies you see, you think, all right, I think coach should give him a few more looks this week or whatever. Nah, I rooted for all of them. You know what I'm saying? I always made them comfortable. They always came on to talk to me. Some of them made me feel old as shit sometimes. Can I get your photo and your autograph? Like, try to make the damn team, bro.
Right.
Ain't no fucking autograph session.
Bro, that's funny what you just said. He talk about one of those younger dudes talking about, can I get your autograph?
It happened.
Have y'all ever had one of those experiences? Let me start with, like, I had a crazy experience like that. I go over to the Giants, right? So I walk in and like, oh shoot, that's B. Marshall. After a couple of practices, I go in the shower, I'm in the shower with the New York Giants in their locker room, and I'm, washing, getting my underarm pit, back of my neck, what I'm saying? Taking my time, taking a deep breath, cooling off after a long practice.
I'm gonna eat my lobster mac.
A defensive end, big boy now. Pause.
Walk the boy, you nigga.
Big defensive end, boy. Big defensive end. The boy's 6'7", like 280 pounds. Mm-hmm. He look at me. He's staring. He eye contact now.
Y'all
like
eye
level.
contact.
He eye level.
Yeah, don't make no eye contact.
man.
That man look at me.
Where are we going with
He
this?
doing it. He doing one of these. He say,
He rubbing.
B. Marshall, I used to play Madden with you growing up.
Well, put your dick away. We can talk about it later.
Come on, bro. What?
I ain't had no shower scene. Let me just start there. All right. But I did have a Madden story. Jack Doyle, right?
Baller.
When he got there as a rookie, he came up to me. He was, smiling like a Cheshire cat. Like his smile was wide. I'm like, what's going on, champ? You know what I mean? He said, oh man, Reggie, like, man, me and my friends, we used to be in the backyard. Everybody was Reggie Wayne, everybody was Reggie Wayne. I said, oh, that's what's up, man, cool, right? He's like, man, you might not remember me, but I was at Cathedral High School and used to always come there. And he said, man, like, he's like, that was like everything for us. And I thought about it. At that time, I was like, man, I ain't go to Cathedral High School in about 8 years. Right? So it instantly makes you feel old.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's I became Uncle Weeze, Uncle Reg, Uncle Wayne. I got to the point where I stood up and I was like, y'all call me Uncle one more goddamn time. Like this past week. some people sent me on social media. They sent me highlights of me playing. Sometimes, man, I don't even want to look at it because it just makes me like, damn, make me feel old as hell.
You think you can still do it?
I am not like you, B. Marsh. I cannot still do it.
I can do it.
Oh, Jesus.
I can do it.
How's your comeback coming?
I hurt my back.
No, you good. Get on out there, old man.
Oh, you hurt your back?
I hurt my back.
And guess what your partners would say? Bye-bye.
The partners.
No, they were saying stay away. Stay away.
That 50-50,
Hey,
well, you still crying for that 50-50 on the way home.
Fred, I'm in the garage. I only had like
How'd you hurt your
315 on the
back?
deadlift. Well, I went up like I was in my zone too. Like, the Rocky song was on.
You play Rocky while you were.
Well, I hit that first one. Now I'm yelling, screaming at her, cuz, come get this for the IG. Come get this on my story, cuz.
Make it look
the
good.
second one, the third one said,
Now you know
Bro,
why.
I was walking around like this for about 2 weeks.
Now you know
Hey.
why I said go on and hang the cleats up.
Nah, I'm
Hey.
still going.
You can't do what you used to do.
That's
So
why
what you gonna say? What are you gonna say when I'm hoisting the Lombardi trophy like this at the end of this year? What you gonna say to me? What
Where
y'all
that
gonna say?
replica
B.
come
Marsh,
from?
wake up. No, wake up, man.
No, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
how it's gonna happen. You ain't
Hey, you know
going
what I'm saying?
You old.
Hey, Fred, you know what I'm saying?
What's that?
Who the hell he stole that from?
What?
Who Super Bowl trophy done stole?
So when did it hit y'all that y'all wasn't great no more? How was the feeling of I was one of the best in the world and now I'm a stay-at-home dad? I know y'all got y'all business ventures and all, but you know what I'm saying? Like that transition, bro.
I'm gonna tell you this. All right. I was at Prime 112 one day, and I met Shane Battier. Used to play with the Miami Heat, and this was right when he was getting ready to retire and all that. And I was like, man, he tripping. You know what I mean? Like he's got a sweet gig. Come off the bench, play defense, shoot the three when you're wide open, but you can keep doing that forever, right? So I asked him. I said, like, damn, Shane, like, you know, why are you retiring? And he said, when the will to play is greater than the will to practice, it's time to stop. And I love to practice. And it got to the point where when I went to New England and stuff, and I didn't feel like practicing. I just wanted to play. And that's when it was like, that's what he was talking about. That's when it was time to go home. Soon as the transport company dropped my Jeep off, I hopped right in there and I drove home. That's how I knew.
Yeah.
I just knew it was time.
And B, now listening to them, are you running from that feeling? Are you running from that realization?
No, you know what it is? If being honest with you guys, like, you know, I always had benchmarks in my career. So for me, it was always, you know, I saw where Reggie was. I saw where all the guys was. And like watching them like weekly, like literally weekly. So for me, the thing is like I tried to do a good job of never leaving a stone unturned, right? So for me, it was easy. It was like 1,000 catches, bam, I'm 30 catches away, right? Even Super Bowl, think about that. Like, you know, how do you go? It's hard to make it to a Super Bowl. It's hard to win a Super Bowl. But to go 13 years and not make a playoff?
Damn.
Like, that's tough, bro. Like, I'm ready. I'm excited about, you know, life after football, TV, making a lot of money doing that. House of athlete, great. But it's just that there's unfinished business.
Now, let's talk about this Peloton that you just invested in. See, because I think when you hurt your back.
Peloton?
Peloton.
Peloton.
Man. I'm from the country. It
Fred
don't
from the
matter.
book, baby. Let Fred.
Yeah, let me talk.
All he do is Stairmaster all day anyway.
No. I'm gonna grab that Pelotons.
Fred.
Yeah, there'll be 3 of us. I'll meet y'all in class. Okay, we ride with.
Yeah.
We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal.
Forget about the numbers. Think about the mentality. Like the mentality was like, hold on, am I just gonna take this ride? Or am I gonna try to compete?
It must be.
Same mentality.
This is when you cute. Go get another drink, bro.
Fred, you went to Florida. I know this one with UCF. He on the
Top. Found out what the blueprint was, and then we made it pop. Yeah, and I just keep coming with verses. Got the boy collecting bags. I'm like a woman with purses. Make it to the top, like I'm dancing in the end zone. Told me I would.